So Captain B, where are we today?
We are at Geechee Seafood, which is one of my partners on one of the tours that I provide, the behind the scenes of Shem Creek Shrimp.
So I guess my question would be, how does one get into something like this?
Years of throwing cast net off my parents' dock here in Mount Pleasant, an appreciation for the industry. Something that a lot of people don't realize is when they come and eat at some of our local restaurants is that their shrimp is also caught here locally. And I thought people were eating it, they may not understand the process behind actually catching it and getting it from a vessel like this and offshore onto their plate. And really there's not an opportunity to learn about that unless you go and approach some of these folks here behind me. So I thought maybe I can draw the connection between guests and locals alike to learn more about the industry by visiting these locations that go and harvest the shrimp offshore.
You never get to really see shrimp in its natural state if you go to the grocery store.
They've been out yesterday, so these are as fresh as you could possibly get. You see no discoloration to them. Beautiful white shrimp, which is what we're getting this time of year. So we'll have like a yellowish, greenish tinge to the very tip of their tail. That is going to be a dead giveaway for a white shrimp as opposed to a brown shrimp. And then another shrimp that we have around here is going to be the pink shrimp.
If someone were to come out here, how does the process work? Do you like start, see you in the hat?
Yes, so we actually meet on the corner of Coleman Boulevard, and we'll start the tour by getting into Old Village. So it's a community that dates back technically to 1680, making it just as old as downtown Peninsula Charleston. No, we don't have as many historic sites, but it does provide a fundamental understanding of what would lead up to transitions in the area over to shrimping as of the early 1900s. So for example, this creek here behind me is a naturally deep water creek, hosted in the 1700s a shipbuilding industry. They would transition over as a ferry system would provide movement, transport for an agrarian-based economy here, growing things like rice, indigo, tobacco, cotton. Now, you'd have a series of consecutive conflicts that would affect this community. There were battles fought here on Shem Creek in 1706, and that would all just lead to this area changing, especially after the Civil War. So you'd have transition from an agrarian-based community. You start some oystering in the late early 1900s, and then the first engine-powered shrimp boat arrived in 1930 under Captain William C. Magwood, and the industry blew up from there. So we transitioned from the history over in Old Village to get that transition to how shrimping became a mainstay. Now, we do not see as many of the shrimp boats as you would have had in the 60s, where there were estimates of 100 shrimp boats lining this creek, but we do have kind of a turnaround where we have usually 10 to 12 active shrimp boats operating from an all-time low of 4. And part of what my experience tries to entail is you make a difference going and purchasing a local product from some of our local shrimpers.
I was gonna say, these are literal families.
Yes.
And this is something that
generations.
It is so cool to me to watch this community and how you guys interact and work with each other. I mean, and it's gotta be cool to be able to take people that maybe don't know anything about shrimping to watch the process.
And now they have a perspective of when they visit other inland or coastal communities that, hey, we can kind of explore a little bit more, we can find the local product, and then they'll often tell you the restaurants that they provide their shrimp to. So you can go visit, if you don't want to cook some shrimp yourself or take it home with you, you can go visit some restaurants right down the street that serve these same shrimp. So it's just an example of what you can do, find the locations that actually catch this product, and they're probably gonna have better information for you about it than anybody else would.
That they will, for sure. Okay, what's your favorite part?
Especially for kids that I have come and join, it would probably be the end. If you don't have a shrimp boat yourself, how can you go out and catch shrimp? And you can use something called a cast net. So we go and finish the experience with throwing cast net, teaching people how to make a pancake or a circle out of the cast net, which is going to let you effectively catch things, shrimp, bait fish, or otherwise, underneath the water. And then we also pull up the crab trap, and you never know what you're gonna have in there. So it can be crabs. We had a puffer fish yesterday that we got to hold and release everything safely afterwards. Had the licensure to be able to do so. But that end part of the tour is the one that puts the most smiles on people's faces.
I love that. So how often do you do tours, and what do the hours look like?
Typically, I will offer these tours Wednesday through Sunday. So, and it goes out at 10 a.m. And we'll finish up usually between 11:30 and 11:45 a.m. as well. I walk you around. We gotta get into Old Village, we gotta cross the creek, we've gotta visit our shrimp facilities like Geechee here. We also go to Mount Pleasant Seafood, which is a great opportunity to learn about a couple different seafood species off the coastline here, and then wind down by getting over to another friend of mine, Captain Billy's boat, talk about how the shrimp boat operates offshore, and then finish up the tour with the cast net demonstration.
How can people book?
So they can go on various platforms, my own website, charlestonhistorictours.com. They can go on other platforms like Viator, TripAdvisor, And then a relatively newer one is Airbnb. If you type in Shem Creek Shrimp, I'm usually one of the top 4 or 5 things that'll pop up as well.